Hey everyone, check out this view. Really nice view here. So, I want to talk a bit about money. So, people do so much for money that they wouldn't do otherwise. People will, they will lose their morality over money in a lot of cases. They will sell themselves out for a measly bit of money. So that's why people say like money is the root of all evil, because like it's you could see why it can be to blame for so many different things, like wars, for example. Wars being about money, because resources and stuff, which ultimately is to make more money. So is it true that money is the root of all evil? Well, it's actually the love of money is the root of all evil. So money itself is not, because money is just a tool. But when money is in the wrong hands, it can be used for very nefarious things. It can be used to, like I said, it can be used, to finance wars. It can be used to just buy weapons and all kinds of things. Used to promote propaganda, for example. But also, people will get greedy and they start doing all kinds of stuff to make money. Like, for example, even things like drug companies that will oftentimes put out dodgy products, even though they don't know they're safe, but they'll pretend that they are. They'll pretend that they're safe and effective because they want to make more profit. So yeah, it's can be very much used in corrupt ways and be gotten in corrupt ways a lot of the time. But it's people ultimately that are evil. A lot of the time it's the intentions of people, the greed, the lust. That's what it causes. That's what causes the evil. Because when we lust after something and we're greedy, then we oftentimes will sacrifice our morality and our integrity for that. But we need to prioritize morals and ethics over a measly bit of money, or even a lot of money. No amount of money is worth selling your soul for. There's so many people like they just sell their soul, they just sell out. Like you see a lot of like musicians and, for example, and movie stars or whatever, and they're promoting propaganda, and it's selling their soul basically. And so that they are motivated by money and success and fame and all that, and they would do things that they wouldn't otherwise be doing. So what I would say is that you should be focusing on your passions, because what does it matter if you don't have so much money that you don't even know what to do with it all? Like these people who are billionaires and all that, they don't even know what to do with all that money a lot of the time. They just end up spending it on things like gambling or drugs or whatever. Because how can you possibly use so much money? I have like 50 bedrooms, like 40 45 of them or 48 of them, they're not even using them. It's a joke. I mean, it's so much waste, isn't it? And that's where I have a problem. I have no problem with people, making money, maybe a few million, something like that. Don't think there's any problem with that. Even though I'd say that might even be a bit excessive, but it's like, as long as you're not being wasteful and spending it on pointless things, then more power to you. But people just do all kinds of desperate things so that they can get another Lamborghini or another Bugatti. But is that really ultimately going to make you happy? Maybe it might do in that moment, but you're having to sell your soul in order to just have that temporary, fleeting sense of happiness. So you've really got to think about what it is you want out of life. Maybe start to learn to appreciate the simple joys of life, like walks in nature, for example, and just having good times with your friends and family and your loved one or whatever, and just it's all about experience. But you don't need to be super rich to have a good life. There's a lot of depressed people who are super rich. It's that's the sad part of it, that they've spent so much of their life trying to get big and get successful and whatever, just for them to be depressed in the long run, because they reach the top and then it's like, where do they go then? And then also they're in competition with other people. They'll probably be worried that someone's going to knock them off their perch. Look at people like, for example, Mark Zuckerberg. Desperately trying to stay relevant. That's what ends up happening. The higher up you go, the further down you have to go. So you got to be careful, because you have to learn to be happy at the bottom, because you have to be outcome independent, not care too much if you end up losing all your money. Learn to still be happy no matter if you have lots or none. So it's just about focusing on the experiences that you can enjoy. By all means, go start your own business. I think that'd be good, just for your own kind of autonomy. But it doesn't need to be making like 7, 8, 9 figures per year or something crazy like that. I mean, even if it just makes like 50 to 100,000 per year, that's more than what most people are making. You can live a pretty good lifestyle on that. You get a nice house, go on holiday regularly. So we have to have our priorities in order, because some people can end up losing out on a lot of good experiences when they're young because they're so focused on making money. They end up not really having their youth. They just kind of miss out on it. So be very careful. When you see all this stuff about hustle culture and whatever, trying to make tons of money and all that, when really we should be trying to focus on whether it be if you want to have a family, or whether it's just to hang around with friends, or just go on fun experiences, just make some fun memories. You don't need tons of money to do that. So a lot of the best things in life come for free, I'd say. Just having do some fun games and things like that with your friends. Yeah, it'd be fun, like when we were kids, just playing hide and seek and stuff like that. It's like, why can't we just learn to just kind of have fun doing things like that? People overcomplicate their lives and they wonder why they're so miserable. Maybe because you're overcomplicating things, you're stressing over things, and you're always worried that you're not keeping up with the Joneses and all that. It's like people get older and then they're in this world that's become increasingly competitive, and because you're exposed to all this stuff on social media. So maybe it's time to do a detox from social media and just take yourself out of it for a while. I'm actually thinking about getting a bike camper and just traveling with that and just having some experiences, you know, just going around different parts of the country, going to the forests and going to the different, you know, areas of the countryside, seeing the different scenery and all that, different hills, mountains and what have you. Maybe do some hikes, what have you. That's what I'd really like to do. Maybe even do some like stuff on the water, like kayaking, for example. I'd like to have a go at that again. So I did stuff like that when I did stuff like that when I was like little. I quite enjoyed it, you know, canoeing, kayaking, stuff like that. So, you know, these things don't cost a lot of money to do. You know, you can get your own kayak or whatever, and once you've got it, then, you know, if you can find somewhere to go that's free, or even if you have to pay, it's only a little bit. So it's like the most fun sort of things really don't cost much. And yeah, I just want to focus on living the best life that I can live, and I can look back and be like, I'm glad that I did what I did. Like, yeah, like I'd like to do things, you know, like zip lining and things like that, you know, long zip lines I'm talking about, high up in the air. I like to do some crazy stuff like that. I also like to maybe do hot air ballooning. Some of this stuff can be a bit expensive, but it's like you don't need millions of pounds, is what I'm saying, to have all these experiences, you know. Like, just throwing out a few examples. You know, I think if we can simplify our lives, then to me that makes us more successful, because we've learned to be able to get by on less, so that we don't need to be working so many hours to be able to pay bills and whatever, because the system wants us trapped. They want us to be worshipping money, and it's not a god. It's just a tool, and it's not necessarily good or bad, but yeah, we can, you know, sort of like appreciate it, that it can bring us some fun things, but it's just a means of exchange. It's not a god to worship, and yeah, we just have to kind of be mindful that money can be used in corrupt ways, and we shouldn't let ourselves fall victim to coercion, corruption and all that. You know, where people bribe you into doing things. It's like, you should put your principles before money, because if you're not putting your principles before money, then, like I said, you're worshipping God. Money's like, kind of like this sort of, almost like, yeah, like I say, it's almost like a god that we just kind of bow down and just do whatever to get it. And it's sad, really. So many people's lives are just ruined over it. And we also need to be careful not to fall for scams, whether that's make money quick or get rich quick scams and crap like that. Also, if people start asking you for money, then that's most likely a scam. 99% chance that it is. Why would somebody online that doesn't know you be asking you for money? It's probably not who they say they are. Especially with today's technology, with deep fakes and stuff like that, where there was that one about like a romance scam that someone thought it was Elon Musk, and it's like, how did they fall for that? Maybe they're just a bit out of touch with technology, and it's yeah, it's dangerous, but people just need to be careful. what they believe in online. Never give you money to a stranger online, even if they're, it's like, because even if it is Elon Musk, why would you give it to him? What doesn't make any sense. Like, he's a billionaire. It's like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, but some people are just too gullible, and we need to protect people. We need to just warn people that, never give your money away ever. I know it's hard because people can start to get a bond with someone, and then it's like, but never do it. Okay, just keep reminding yourself that no matter what they say, just never give them your money. It is just a really dumb thing to be doing. So yeah, I'm gonna, I think, leave it here. So let me know what you guys think below. Like, money is, like I said, not good or bad in my opinion, but we should be not prioritizing it. We should be prioritizing we should be prioritizing our health, is what I'd say, above all else. Our mental health and our physical health. Doing things like exercise regularly, eating good, getting enough sleep, those kinds of things. And a lot of people, when they're making money and they're hardly getting any sleep, and they're probably eating crap because they're just spending so much time they haven't got time to cook a decent meal or something like that, and it's not good. You should be focusing on your health above all else, because what if you become in bad health but you're a billionaire? I'd rather be in good health and be broke than be a unhealthy billionaire. So that goes to show how money really isn't the most important thing. Your health is more important. So with that being said, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. Bye.